Hey, hey.
How's it going, everyone? And welcome to the TNA Body Slam Post Show. Joined by my good buddy I, as always. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. It's pretty chilly and windy out here in the east. You can hear a little the winds kind of blowing in and stuff, but yeah, it's pretty good. Good Friday night. Minus the technical issues, but yeah, we just kind of saw the Jake Paul. I was just telling my bird we just saw the Jake Paul fights, and yeah, and yeah,
I,
Anthony Joshua, came what we all expected. Feel sorry for anyone who betted against Joshua. So that's it.
yeah, I I would assume most people are happy with that result. You know what I mean? I'm speaking for myself. I was hoping to finally see Jake Paul get knocked out. You know what I mean? It wasn't the big knockdown I thought it was going to be, but still, you know what I mean? He did
Yeah,
get beat. And you know what? It's interesting just because like I was watching a little bit of it, and it felt like just such a spectacle for not like that big of a result. You know what I mean? Like, the whole show. You know what I mean? I
hmm
only checked out a little bit of it, but yeah, it was interesting.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing with box. I mean, we'll talk about boxing real quick. Like that's the thing with boxing. It's just people are just there just they want to see just like the ridiculousness of the matchup, even though it doesn't make sense. And some boxing commissions, they're afraid. It's like wrestling. It's like wrestling a bit. Like some boxing commissions don't want to see how a certain fight goes on. They're protected of their fighters. It's just a lot of ridiculousness.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of politics in boxing.
Yeah.
That's such a long conversation to have. You know what I mean? And you're
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
hearing like trying to find ways to solve it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a complicated issue.
hmm
But before we jump into everything, and like before we even get into the show in general, I wanted to ask you because this week it seems to be like a big topic everyone keeps talking about is wrestling awards. And I kind of wanted to get your take on that. Like, do you put much stock into that? Do you really even care? It seems like a lot. I don't know if it was just more of a talking point for engagement, or if people were even really up in arms about them. But yeah, you saw like a lot of people kind of pushing back on the. I think it was SI. We're going heavy AEW.
The Sports Illustrated Awards and
Awards and these awards in general. Like I said, do you really care?
not really, not really. I mean, it's nice like when the community comes together and puts awards and stuff to like hit her, but I would say not really because that it shouldn't really dictate how we feel on a like it shouldn't really dictate how we feel on other people feel on what wrestlers is a top tier or match or top tier and stuff because some of these awards are ridiculous anyway and stuff if you know what I mean. Like you got the PWI. I mean, I'm not. I mean, to be fair, I'm not really mad at PWI right now, but which we'll get into later. The webs, the Observer Awards, Russell Pierce Awards, Fightful Awards. Like there's just so many and whatnot. Sports Illustrated Awards, Bleacher Report Awards. Although Becky Lynch, Becky Lynch, she loves to brag about being the top tier on at whatever awards they put her on. But yeah, to answer your question, it doesn't really affect me or how I choose, because because I mean at the end because you got to understand too, dude, and how much attention are some of these awards they're paying attention to like other promotions outside WWE and AEW or New Japan and whatnot because like sometimes there's just a little bit of bias into some of these awards. So yeah.
Yeah, like it's like a combination of factors. Like for one, like again, wrestling's predetermined, so people are almost just kind of like, I mean, the way I kind of look at these awards is a little bit like when a movie or TV show comes out, you see like the different scores from the different sites. Like you have IMDb, you have a Rotten Tomatoes score, you know what I mean? Like, and you see how different each of them like vary, you know what I mean? So like that's kind of how I look at these awards. Like people have different opinions, and there's so many different sites that rate these things, you know what I mean? So like you really can't put too much stock into it, and especially as a fan, like it shouldn't hinder your enjoyment of who thinks what, you know what I mean?
Correct.
Like
Correct.
so exactly what you said. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, and also it's just a waste of time arguing over a list. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like it's almost like similar to the like the ratings conversation, like just going down that path. Like as soon as you start doing that, like as a fan, like because that really shouldn't matter. Like I mean, I don't watch a show wondering how many other people are watching it. Sure, like I think about it in regards of like, oh, I hope that show doesn't get canceled. But like again, that doesn't really hurt my enjoyment if a bunch of people don't like something that I'm watching. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
So that's just one of those things. Okay. Uh, Before we get into tonight's show again, we had a little bit of like I would say NXT TNA news. I believe a lot of people saw Leon Slater is getting a world title. I mean, an NXT title shot. I believe at New Year's Evil against Obafemi. That's a big time match. You know what I mean? NXT seems to be really getting behind Leon. They're putting him in a lot of big spots. On one hand, that might scare some people, maybe me including, just wondering, okay, are they trying to get him sooner than later? But I have to be happy for, Leon. I'm not going to get upset. You know what I mean? The guy deserves it. You know what I mean? He is big time. But what were your thoughts when you saw that, Io, that he's getting this opportunity? That's huge.
Yeah, it is huge. What a week has been for Leon Slayer entirely. Last Saturday he was in the tag match at John Cena's farewell show. It was a fun six. No, it wasn't 6 minutes. It was like a fun 10-minute match. With him and Javon against AJ Styles, Dragon Lee. Um, he got pinned by AJ with the Styles Clash too. That was pretty interesting, but that was good. And then yeah, fast forward to Tuesday. Shockingly, he won the Fatal 4-Way. Not gonna lie, I thought I was actually thinking Dion Lennox from Dark State was gonna win it because there's been like some tension brewing between himself and Obafemi. So but that's for another combo. Yeah, it just shows how much not only us wrestling fans are impressed with Leon Slater, but yeah, it seems like he's caught WWE's attention too, based on what he's been doing. The appearances, and then Saturday night's main event, and of course now winning this 4-way to where he's actually going to challenge Obafemi on New Year's Evil. Yeah, also to what you say, also might kind of put some little worries as to like, there's a chance he might leave, leave after his next deal or whatnot, or da 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 and stuff. On one hand, yeah, you got to be happy because he's a bright young kid. Obviously, as our buddy Mike Gilbert said, he's a young Will Ospreay, which I agree. Probably is better. Probably a better as Will Ospreay, like when he was in his early 20 years, 20 age and stuff. I think Will agree too. Yeah. And the way Leon has when you watch Leon, the way how he presents himself on screen, it's just like, man, this guy feels like he's a pro already. So yeah, I mean, it's for another conversation. Yes, we're happy for Leon. He deserves the opportunities and stuff. As far as TNA status, that's for another convo. But surely TNA is still invested on Leon, which I know for sure. That's one thing we're not really pointing out to, including my buddy Mike Gilbert. Like a TNA, like we need to see how TNA is still invested in Slater, which I think they still are. So, from my understanding, I think he still has a year on his deal. Who knows? Maybe a lot can happen. But again, that's for another conversation. So yeah, I'm looking forward to his match with Obafemi. I think is going to be very good. If Obafemi versus Javon Evans was one thing, like get ready for Leon Slater and Obafemi.
You know, and I kind of put it out earlier, just talking about how TNA really needs to get behind Leon.
I agree.
I would just say real quick before, like I'm with you. Like, let's not worry about him leaving now because it's similar to like the Joe Henry thing. Like, okay, don't. And I think Leon's a whole different a different talent. You know what I mean? Beyond Joe. But what my point is that let's enjoy Leon while we have him. You know what I mean?
It's
Like, don't like be pessimistic and be like, oh man, what's the point of getting behind him if we're
right
gonna lose him? You know what
because
I mean?
we
Because
worry too much about what's going to happen 7 months from now, 6, 7, 8 months from now, and stuff like guys. Like a lot can like a lot can go down within those months. Let's worry about the now. And like I think that's kind of like what uh, like the complaints about like the future. Oh, he's a future. He's a future. When they said like this is the now. That's what we should be doing now. Let's focus on the now. Like what's gonna happen at New Year's Eve and stuff. So
exactly,
yeah,
and also, I mean, yeah, I completely agree with you because, like, yeah, like let's enjoy the present. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And like you said, a lot can change, and like a lot can happen. But yeah, like let's not like worry about things that are like they're out of our control. You know what I
right.
mean?
Because he's still the X-Men champion. He's still gonna be on AMC for a longer period. Still gonna be on
Mm-hmm.
Genesis. So that's what matters. So yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
But I
Um.
would say
Continue.
real, real, real quick, I was going to say I think a lot will be said about like if you what you're saying he's with us for like the next year or so. I think that he should be paying attention how they book Javon. And I'm only saying that because they're similar in age and like they've been like, you know what I mean, kind of compared to each other like the last few months, you know, better part of the year. Because and I say that now because you saw I forget who put it out a few months ago, just talking about how Javon shouldn't be the future. He should be the you know, like the now in terms of like let's not wait 10 years to book him. You know what I mean? Let's push him like to the main event scene now. And I definitely think that TNA should do that with Leon, and I think that would definitely go a long way in terms of if they make him like the guy now, or even maybe not now, but sooner than later, and like especially going with this new AMC deal, let's build the company around him. You know what I mean? If the company grows with him, you know what I mean? Then like he is the face of the company. You know what I mean? Like, and there, I think there's a lot to be said. Like, yeah, he can go to WWE like eventually. You know what I mean? He's not 31, he's 21. You know what I mean? Why not spend 6 or 7 years like becoming like the AJ Styles of TNA?
Yeah,
Go to WWE when you're 30. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, yeah, I think there's a lot he could do a lot now, and I think TNA should get behind him. Just I think that would influence him to stay.
All right. Because there's a reason why they gave him this. They waited till the right moment to have him be like the youngest champion. I mean, the youngest X-Men champion, which was a Slammiversary, big pay-per-view, standalone spotlight with Moose and stuff, and then of course the AJ return, standing in the ring. So yeah, TNA is very invested on this guy. I just think we should just focus on what he's doing right now instead of just focusing on the future because nobody knows more. Nobody knows more the company's future than the company itself, and you can quote on that. So yeah,
Yeah. Also, too, like I look at wrestling move it too a little bit like you see, like in like professional sports, no one player anymore stays on the same team their whole career. Like a lot of these wrestlers, they move around a lot. You know what I mean? Like that's just kind of the name of the game now. You know what I mean? So you really can't like just think that you're going to have somebody for their whole career. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
That's not likely. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's not practical.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But
Leon
so
wasn't the
sorry.
only TNA talent on NXT.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So yeah, earlier in the show, Ethan Page, the current North American champion, was cutting the promo. Then he got interrupted by the international champion Stax with Ariana, which we're gonna get in, but two we're gonna get into very later. Um, and then of course they got interrupted by Moose, and Moose cutting a promo about once again, another TNA title being taken away to NXT, and he says that someone's gonna deal with Stacks eventually, but his focus is towards Ethan Page, and he wants to claim an NXT title to TNA. So in 2 weeks, it'll be Moose challenging Ethan Page for the NXT North American title. My thoughts: if NXT was smart or WWE, I think it's only fair. Yeah, TNA should get one of their belts too. I mean, because we saw that with the Hardys, so think we should kind of even it up. So yeah, I'm rooting for Moose, obviously. So, but what was your thoughts on the segment?
Yeah, I'm with you. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely would like to see TNA get a little bit more love in the belt, category. Again, it's not a make or break for me, but I think this would definitely be one that is easy to sell. Moose definitely is. I think when he goes to NXT, he comes off like a big deal. You know what I mean? Um, so him winning here, I don't think it is a bad idea. I think it would be a good move. Ethan's held that title for a while now. I think he's built it up. I think it's probably the best reign since Wes, I would say.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I think dropping the title to Moose, I think would be a pretty big deal. And yeah, I think for a win for TNA right now, yeah, especially going into the ANC debut, I would like to see that. I'm with you on this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
because it could think of this way, like Moose being North American champion. Let's just say Leon Slater, if he somehow win the X Division title, that will create some synergy and buzz, like heading towards the MCW. I mean, the AMC debut.
exactly. I completely agree with you on that. That's a reason to get NXT fans to watch,
Mm-hmm.
especially if there's you get the rematch that night. So I'm with you on this one. I think that's a no brainer. I think putting on Moose would be a very good idea, just because. Um, and I'm trying to think who said this. I listen to so many podcasts and like clips and shit. I know someone said this, but I think that it's pretty obvious that Leon's not winning. So Moose, winning would be a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, before we get into just last night's show, anything else that you wanted to bring up? Anything on your mind?
All right. Speaking of lists, PWI, I think we should bring up that. Yeah. Um, ranking up number one on the PWI Tag Team 100s. None other than none other than the goats, the legends, the rock stars himself, Jeff Hardy.
Completely
This is pretty
deserved.
big too because a TNA tag team is on the number one top 10 100 list, and this is to me like it's I know I'm not really too big on lists and stuff, but like it's pretty remarkable because TNA does have a great history of tag team wrestling. Like you go from the AMW days, the the LAX days, the Motor City Machine Guns, Beer Money's, Dudley's, the Wolves. I can go on and on. Obviously, the Wolves, the ABCs, you know, and of course the Hardys, and I mean like I can go on and on about tag teams and TNA, but yeah, this is kind of truly a good. I mean, for both reasons, for TNA obviously because shows that we are still a main entity in tag team wrestling. For the Hardys, it kind of validates their resurgence, tag team resurgence. You know that they still can perform, pack a house, obviously pack a house, and help TNA make great deals, which they all done. And Yeah, yeah, that's a great win for TNA and the Hardys. So yeah, what was your thoughts when you heard that they were ranked number one?
You know, you're spot on, and I think to justify the Hardys winning, like for anybody who has like any kind of pushback on it, I would think you should kind of look at it the way they vote and like how they look the NFL looks like or the NBA the MVP. It's not always like the best player, like it's the most valuable. And for like the reasons that you said, like especially if you like look at the things like the growth, it's a lot of the growth the Hardys are responsible, like the resurgence of TNA. You know what I mean? Like the fact that like they are, you could say, the top draw in TNA. You know what I mean? So there's just like a lot of reasons why, like you could say that they're the number one tag team. You know what I mean? It's like not like all about like match quality. And it's funny I'm saying that too, because like Matt could be justified a little bit, you know, because he was kind of preaching about that. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of reasons why they are number one. And like I said, I think they're the MVP of TNA, and just in terms of what they've done to kind of, and like you said it, like you could say that they're a big reason why they're getting this new TV deal. You know what I mean? The Hardy and the
Hmm.
if you listen to the pops they're getting every night, the Hardys are still very much like stars. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like they're a big reason why those crowds are the way they are. You know what I mean? Like the people come out of their seats when the Hardys come out. So yeah, I'm completely with you, Io. And like to answer your question, I was happy for him because, like I said, it makes sense why I get. You know what I mean? I get why they're number one. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I didn't really necessarily think that they would be number one just because I don't follow these things. But like it makes sense for like the reasons I just said and what you just said, Io. They're like a big reason why TNA is where they're at right now.
Hmm.
So
What up question?
yeah, they're and it's completely deserved too. You know what I mean? So also like anybody like we were talking about earlier, anybody kind of wondering like why TNA wasn't getting love from certain publications. I think this was a big one right here. You know what I mean? So I've always said we're getting this new TV deal. There's a lot to be happier about than just some award. So, but this is still really cool.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, before we get into tonight's show, and we got a lot to talk about. This show was hot. I just want to remind everyone that this week's podcast is sponsored by Shroom Bar, the protein mushroom bar. It's made up of not psychedelics, but four powerful mushroom adaptogens. It has lion's mane, which increases focus, memory, and neuroplasticity, making it easier to form new patterns and learn new things. Next time you're trying to learn that new move, it might actually stick in your head rather than forgetting it immediately. It has cordyceps, which increases VO2 max, blood flow, and overall endurance. It has reishi, which decreases stress. It has turkey tail, which boosts your immune system, and we all know you're going to need that when you're on those nasty ass gym mats. And on top of all that, it's 12 grams of protein. Go to eatshroombar.com and use code BODYSLAM at checkout for 25% off your first order. Okay, Io. I think I think this is one of the best episodes of Impact all year, not just because of the matches, which I think that they were all very like I think they were all good to great, but I think that the angles that we got, especially that ending, which I definitely think is very interesting. You know what I mean? I definitely popped me, even though it was very. I think we kind of saw where it was going, especially if you pay attention. But I thought the show was really good. What were your overall impressions before we get into segment by segment?
Yeah, it's funny too. Like we basically had we basically had three matches for a 2 hour show, and it was pretty loaded. And yeah, honestly, like at the end of the show, I left thinking like, man, I want to watch more. What happens next? And I think that's something that TNA was missing for some time, like doing something, whether it don't matter if it's in the beginning or middle or the end, to the point where people want to tune in next week and see what happens next. Fortunately, spoiler alert, it's Christmas Day, and it's Christmas Day next Thursday, and we'll probably just I mean, we have some matches, but like not really like a regular episode. You know what I mean? But that's for another conversation. Yeah, like what? Yeah, basically what I mean. Like, makes you want to tune in next Thursday, or and see what's next, or the other Thursday, or whatnot. But that's I think TNA did. I think the last Thursday TNA did something as well. I mean, did accomplish that in my opinion. Um, yeah, very loaded. A lot of talent. We could basically say a lot of wrestlers wrestled on this show, and yeah, that's the beauty of it. Like a 2 hour show, like you can get enough talent to wrestle, even if it's for like a few minutes, or get them on the show. So yeah, yeah, very very loaded Thursday last night.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job of mixing. And like you said, there was 3 matches, but the main event almost reminded me again. It's like a gauntlet type match. Again, it was a 5-on-5 match. They gave it a lot of time. And it was also mixed with a lot of storylines to move the needle. You know what I mean? Move us forward, get us ready for there's stuff to be excited for going to the new year, especially that debut show. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna get into it right now. Like again, I thought this show was very good. It was well paced. I think is another way you could describe it. But first, we open up with that number one contenders match. And besides I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I thought this was very good. I thought for what these matches were, and what you're normally going to expect, this one was very fun. Um, we saw like a lot of we saw a lot of usual faces with Brock Anderson, CW, and then some of the newer faces like Brock Anderson, CW Anderson, but and then speaking of a new face, the winner was Bear Bronson, and I did not see that coming. And on one hand, I'm a little shocked about it, but on the other hand, it's like, okay, that could be shocking and a good thing. You know what I mean? That's interesting.
Yeah,
So, what's your take on all this? Do you like were you surprised about that? And are you feeling this one?
I was very surprised. Um, this is one way to kind of boost the unpredictability, like the unpredictability, and kind of like do something that's not folks not really expecting. But the battle royal, yeah, it was pretty decent. Like you said, very very loaded too. I'll just rack up the names while we're here. Rich Swan, Trey Miguel, Wentz, Myron, Hometown Man, Jake something, Funaki's son. I don't know his name. Sinner and Saint, John Schuyler, Jake Painter, Mance Warner, Ryan Nemeth, BDE, Moose, the Andersons, Cedric, Bear Bronson, and Eric Young. Yeah, a lot of stuff went down. It was basically kind of like get the lesser important people out early, and then have the well known talents on the stick around for some time and stuff, and then it was pretty good. I'm actually it's funny, it's appalling that Ryan Nemeth himself was on the final three, I guess you could say. It came down to him, Eric Young, and Bear Bronson, but that's my own funny man. And of course, later during the match, while Swan, speaking of Ryan was dealing with Rich Swan, and then of course AJ Francis, who's still beefing with Swan, interfered and eliminated Swan. But then it then came down to like it then came down to like known talents like Cedric Moose, Mance Warner, um Jake something. Oh yeah. Speaking of Jake something, we got a good we had a good stare down between Bear Bronson and Jake something, and I feel like I think we could speak for everyone. Like, I think that's a collision we need to see someday. Even Bear Bronson himself tweeted that, like, like he would go through hell on earth to make that match happen. Hopefully in TNA.
You got to reinforce the
Um,
ring on that one.
yeah, yeah. Matthew did say he wanted Ryan to win. Come on, bro. I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
come on.
I'm surprised Mara Sade didn't interfere too, because she's has her issues with Ryan, but that's for no convo. But yeah, Bear Bronson the winner. I like it. I think TNA seems like TNA's not only he just got here obviously, but like seems like they have some potential for him if he sticks around or so. But I did like his post match interview later with Gia. You can really tell like he's been begging for an opportunity like this. And no offense when he was on AEW, he didn't really kind of got to showcase his potentialness or so outside besides the wrestling obviously. Like of course in AEW everyone has to wrestle blah 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 and stuff, but um what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so yeah, he's going to challenge Frankie on New Year's Day, which is in 2 weeks. So that should be interesting.
You know what? To me, them pushing Bear Bronson this quickly, it's almost like saying that, okay, we know we're probably losing Jake. And real quick, I'm glad I brought that up, because if anybody remembers, I believe it was yesterday it broke that Jake was among 4 people that were signed to very short-term deals. I believe it was 3 months or 6 months. I can't remember the number, but then it was confirmed today by Sean Ross from Fightville. Contrary to reports from Fightville, can confirm that Jake Sunday and Zach Wentz have not signed new deals with TNA at this point. And that was about 11 hours ago. Again, that was from Sean Ross app of Fightful. Again, so back to Bronson. To me, this is like them trying to kind of course correct and kind of pushing pushing Bear how they should push Jake. They're already making him a threat. You know what I mean? Yeah, you look at the guy, and then just in terms of like AEW, and again, I wasn't blown away by the promo, but I'm not saying that the promo was bad. And in terms of AEW, again, you could say that one, that roster's loaded. Again, they've signed way too many people, so it'd be hard for him to break out. You know what I mean? I think their top is pretty much defined at this point. And so for him, I think this is a good move for him because, like, technically, yeah, he was in ROH, and you could probably say that that's AEW's like third brand is to NXT, it's a WWE's third brand. So going to TNA, I think, is the best move. You know what I mean?
It's the ECW. It's the ECW to AEW's. If you know what I mean, but no.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just saying he could be a star in TNA, and I think that's a better spot than going to WWE and going to NXT or sticking around in AEW and just being kind of relegated to ROH at this point. So
Yeah.
I think it's a good move.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail. This seems like they're trying to course correct because possibility if Jake might not stick around longer. So I mean, hopefully that's not the case. But seems like TNA is trying to course correct, probably get prepared to find someone to kind of take that spot or so. But yeah, yeah, we talk about the promo. Yeah, good promo. Kind of reintroduce himself because I'm pretty sure TNA fans don't know who he is. And I mean, to be honest, I didn't really know much about him. I just know he was in the tag team and his partner was a piece of shit, and that's for another convo. But yeah, yeah, it was a good way to kind of introduce. That's the thing. That's a great thing about TNA. Like, it don't matter if you're well known or up and coming indie or coming from another company. They're gonna introduce you in a way, in their way. They're gonna reintroduce you in their way so that the audience can get pumped. To can see how they can resonate towards with you. Fortunately for the righteous, they El Paso wasn't a good way to introduce them. That's my opinion, but yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, looking forward to the title match on New Year's Day.
And let me just real quick, you know what? When it comes to Bear Bronson, he might be at this point a cheaper version of Jake because I don't, and again, I don't know if there was interest from WWE for Bear, but seeing how as he just left AEW, and I again, it seems like there's heavy interest for Jake. It seems like TNA is going to be able to sign Bear for less than what they would have to pay Jake to retain him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's just my guess. That's what I would think. So I think this is a very good move. You know what I mean? So, and I believe Bear is younger. So yeah, I think signing maybe locking him down now would be very smart. So yeah, again, I'm very interested in this. So I'm with you. I can't wait for
Right.
this match.
All right. Invest on the young and hungry, and the young and
Yeah,
hungry. Yeah.
exactly. Because those people are, I think, are less looking for that one last big payday. They know they got time. You know what I mean? They're not,
Exactly.
you know. Okay, next before the next match, we just had a quick little team TNA, like a hype statement, get ready for their cage match. This was fine. You know what I mean? Again, this was one of the lesser angles on the show. But yeah, I think the match was more important. Obviously, we'll get into it. But yeah, this was okay. This was fine.
They were barking like dogs too. Yeah. But yeah. They're pumped. They're pumped and ready for the steel cage.
Then we had, as you mentioned, the Barrett Bronson promo. Again, this wasn't my favorite promo. It wasn't bad, but again, there's something there. I'll say that. So completely agree with everyone else's excitement in terms of, yeah, I think this could be something. So yeah, what do you think of the promo?
Yeah, like I said, it's a great way to reintroduce, or no, introduce us to him. Yes, he talked about he's worked his butt off for this opportunity and so, and yeah, we'll see how he do against the world champ himself.
Exactly. And again, I
Because
will
you
say
only
this.
get one impression to to wow new viewers, as the saying goes.
Yeah, I will say this. TNA over the years has been very, very good at the people that they're good at spotting gems. You know what I mean? We've seen
Hmm.
them get it right with like a lot of talent from like other places. You know what I mean? So like when TNA gets their hands on, there's usually a high success rate. So that's what has me very confident in this one as well. So TNA know what they're doing. You know what I mean? I said it before.
Hmm.
Like I always compare TNA to like the Tampa Bay Rays. You know what I mean? They have they're like last in terms of resources, but in terms of like player development, they're always near the top. And you have to be very smart when you're working with lesser resources. And TNA has always been that way.
Hmm.
Okay, next we have I think what was probably the best match on the show. It was the Angel Warriors taking on Mila Moore and Tessa Blanchard of the Diamond Collective. I had made the joke in my head. I keep calling them the Diamond Mind, just because you know. What I mean, I just that's a recent former NXT faction, but I thought this was very good, and the Angel Warriors were able to get the victory. And I disagree with anyone who says they should have Zaya turn. You know what I mean? I see enough of partners turning on each other in WWE, especially when it's forced. And I would not force Zaya to turn heel just in terms of like that's a little like having, even though Becky's a good heel, but I don't want to boo Zaya. You know what I mean? Even though I think she could be a good heel, I don't want to boo her. You know what I mean? So they can't do that.
If they've been paying attention to like the segments and how they interact, it seems like they still need each other. They still need each other regardless of
Yes.
Lei having the title. Because I mean, of course, she can speak English, obviously, but like she's still gonna like cut her promos in Chinese, and then as I being a little translator, and whatnot. So I mean, it's just again, I don't want to be a little downer and stuff. Like when Lane got here, she wasn't really doing much on this. I mean, let's be honest, she wasn't really doing much as soon as when she got there. it wasn't until like later on in the year then the tag team formed. So I feel like these two they still have potential of like obviously winning the tag titles later on. So there's no point of breaking them up or not, or no, or turning heel. Yes, it's ridiculous. We have enough heels already. So.
And you know what, Isle, you could say that, and things happen for a reason, and you have to be able to, when you get the ball, you got to be able to run with it. And a lot of dominoes have fallen to, like, if you think about it, to get to this point to where some of the people are in the where their position they are, and a lot of, like, the fact that losing Masha, obviously, I'm pretty sure she's gone, and then and then obviously Ash having to retire. I think you had said, Lay, obviously she wasn't doing much, but I think now they're having to kind of elevate her a lot quicker than maybe they had planned. I think she's really rolled with this spot. So yeah, I think that she's doing very well. And again, I do think they need each other. I like their dynamic as a team, and I would not break them up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm completely with
Oh
you on
yeah.
that.
So the match, the match was very good. Yeah. Diamond Collect. I think I like the name Diamond Collective. Uh, um, what annoys me is like this clown Robert Stone getting too much screen time. Like even in the entrance, like I don't know what the hell he was doing. He was just getting too much screen. But that's for that combo. Yeah, I like the group. I think it helps kind of keeps Tessa busy. Um, it also gives more an opportunity for young Mila Moore. I'll give TNA credit. Like she just debuted not too long ago, and already she's getting these opportunities, which is pretty cool. Uh, Hopefully, the same for Jada Stone later, or whoever we see her on TV. Um, I like this tag team pairing of Tessa and Mila because I think it works well. Not a shot on Victoria Crawford. I mean she's a you could say she's a legend in her own right and stuff, but it seems like we go with the ones who are still going on a consistent, which is Tessa and Mila. Um, don't you agree? Like, you don't you prefer this pairing? If since this group is now a thing, like
Yeah, the smart move would be to get rid of Robert Stone, move Victoria Crawford into more of the manager role. You
hmm
have Tessa and
Mila.
um yeah, Mila as like base, I mean the team, you know what I mean, going forward. I think that would be the move. You know what I mean? Just because,
Yeah,
again, we don't need to see Robert Stone. And it's not like I just because I don't want to see Victoria wrestle so much. I do like her and value her as a character. You know what I mean? On screen, she's a great character. So yeah, I think she could easily be doing and more entertaining than what Robert's doing. I really don't need to
yeah,
see Robert Stone on TV. You know what
yeah.
I mean? He doesn't do
I
anything
don't
for
think
me.
they even need. I don't think they even need Roberts. Like he's not even signed here. It's like, what are we doing? But I guess hey, that's
Exactly.
for our buddy Mike Gilbert likes to joke that yeah he might be working there too. Who knows? Depending if NXT let him, WWE let him go, who knows? But I doubt it. But
Mhm.
that's another joke. Um, so yeah, I think yeah this group kind of works as potential, especially this tag pairing. They had a good match with the Angel Warriors. Credit to all four of them. They were working. Um, everyone shined. Mila for her right. She shined too. Working with three established three established talents. Um, for the most part, yeah, everyone shined. Good work, good sequence, good tag maneuvers, and then the finish with Lang's move. It was pretty good. So yeah,
Yes.
I enjoyed the match. Yeah.
I definitely, I said this was my favorite match of the show. I think both teams have great chemistry with each other. Like, I mean, both team members have chemistry with each other, and these teams have chemistry with each other. And yeah, overall, like you said, I would roll with Mila and Tessa. Victoria is the manager. Let's get Robert Stone off my TV, please.
Yeah.
Okay, next we're going to move into what I thought was the promo of the night. And this was from Danny Luna, and she's challenging Lady Me for the title. And I don't know if I would necessarily go with her that quickly, just because you know what I mean. I want Lay to have her run. I think she deserves it, but I also think Danny does, and I think that there's a way to kind of keep Danny close to the title and still a big deal, but without having her win. But let me just say this, Kyle, before I get into it, because I know you're gonna have a lot to say on this one. I think TNA needs to build Danny similarly the way that WWE built Becky when she like became the man. You know what I mean? Like she dubbed herself the man. Like I really think that Danny has organically gotten over. It's just like you know what I mean? Like this like she's like she's dominating, you know what I mean? Like she's going out there like she when she's out there, you know what I mean, she's just like wrecking shop. And I think that like they gave her just like this there's a big time deal. She could be the power as well. Just in terms of like, you know what I mean? Could be the next Jordan in terms of that in that way. But yeah, I think that Danny they need to go all in with her as well, just in terms of and again not just her, but I think she does need to be a focal point. You know what I mean? Because I think she has everything.
Agree. Especially they need more top heels. So I think yeah, Danny kind of fits the bill at the moment. And she's a very unpredictable unpredictable cat. I mean, obviously you can see the bandage on her forehead from last week's dog collar war, which was pretty sightseeing. And yeah, you can tell. Yeah, she's really coming her own since she's turned heel. She's a very calculating, ruthless. As you can see in her in her stone look face. She told basically saying like telling Santino if that dog car match was enough to give her a title shot, then she doesn't know what. Well, and then calling out Ling, saying if she's a fighting champion, prove it. Um, I know you said earlier, yeah, that you like Ling to have like a nice title reign or some sort. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if she drops it go quickly because again, she's still in the tag team, and then someone had to get the belt off. I mean, a babyface. Let me correct. A babyface had to get the belt off Kalani back in NXT. So
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe yeah. Who knows? Maybe it was just to kind of give it to Danny all this time. But guess we'll see. But I'm actually looking forward to this matchup. Two different styles, two different international talents. That's one of the great things about the knockouts division. We have like each wrestler is different. Each wrestler comes from somewhere and stuff. So seems like it'll be booked for Genesis. It hasn't been official. We're not sure, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, definitely. That I would definitely like if they're going to do that. Let's hold off till Genesis. That's definitely going to be a great match. So yeah, I am looking forward to that one. And if it happens to be Danny's time, I'm not going to complain because I do think that she's ready to. And yeah, she's got like I like part of the character is kind of like this chip on her shoulder, like she thinks she deserves a lot more. You know what I mean? And she feels disrespected, and I always think that makes a good heel. So. And yeah, I love her character work so far. And again, she has everything in the ring wise as well, and her promos just keep getting better. So yeah, I'm ready for them to go all in with her as well. So okay, next we're gonna move into. I think we're always like fun segments. You know where you're gonna go with these. It was just like an Elijah concert, and I really think that I don't know we're seeing. I think this a lot. I think this applies to like all walks of life, but there's just certain wrestlers that are just going to fit better places, and like I think we see it with Ricochet and AEW, just to name one, and I think Elijah fits TNA a lot better than he does WWE. You know what I mean? And I do think he comes off as a bigger deal, and you know what I mean. I don't know. This was a good segment. What do you think about this first part of it, Io, and like just Elijah overall in TNA?
I agree. I think Elijah Uh, I think yeah, Elijah is really coming to his own. I mean, obviously, it's still the same. It's still the same stuff, when he was in WWE as Elias. Did I say it right? Elias. Oh yeah, Elias.
Yeah.
Yeah, this dude has so many names, but it's hard to keep up. But yeah, it seems like they're actually treating him like a serious member on the roster, not just someone who just comes in, performs and stuff. He's actually being put in serious stuff, serious storylines. Let me literally serious storylines, so to speak. Especially right now with this one with Mustafa Ali, and yeah, he was oh he's I like that they're putting him in serious storylines. This was a decent segment. Obviously, coming to light up the crowd in El Paso with a nice song. Um, I forgot the lyrics of something something. Elijah come to El Paso. Very good, very good, very good catchy tune. Um, I mean, of course, the crowd's gonna. When anytime ah, Elijah comes, the crowd's gonna, um, you know, get hot for him. Sing the "Oh Walk with Elijah." Yeah, it was kind of like a nice intercession to kind of get us ready before the steel cage match and stuff. So glad they put that in there. And then of course, interrupting him, Tasha Steeles and Agent Zero, Order 4. Then of course Mustafa and the man himself, Mustafa Ali, interrupting Elijah. Still upset about being hogtied and then taken away by a horse. Uh, I honestly, bro, I like this feud. I think it serves both guys. Elijah, yeah, he's being put in a honestly he's been put in a serious feud since being here. And then Mustafa giving him stuff. Um, while he's not really in the world title picture right now, but at least kind of give him important programs. So this feud kind of helps both guys. So looking forward to what's next. Oh yeah, Elijah challenges. I mean, dares Mustafa to come down, or he'll meet up with him. Then it gets attacked by the Greyhounds disguised as roadies. Shout out to Road Dogg. Yeah, to get disguised as roadies. Then they pay for it, and then of course Elijah walks up to the ramp, gets distracted with Tasha, and then heads back turn and get whacked with a guitar again by Mustafa. So yeah, this feud's heating up. Looking forward to what's next. Your thoughts?
Definitely. And this feud is just going to serve a purpose to make Ollie come off as more of an evil heel. And like, the purpose is, yeah, while he's not, I mean, he's not in the world title scene right now, but yeah, just making this guy continue to build this guy as a top heel it should be the goal. So yeah, I'm very excited for this feud. I think it's going to produce some quality shit. So I'm definitely looking excited for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Good mix of styles. Yeah, it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next we're just going to get a quick little Indy Hartwell promo. She says she's not cleared after the dog collar match, so I'm wondering how this is going to work. Like, we know it's going to be Danny versus Lee at a determined time, probably Genesis. I'm wondering if they're going to find a way to insert Indy in that, or if they're going to, have Indy cost Danny the match, or if Indy's not going to be a factor at all. So I'm wondering what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks.
Well, considering they've been feuding for some time and stuff. I would think it'd be wise to kind of like put a little break on that. So
Yeah,
because Danny did beat her. Regardless. Danny did beat her fair and square in that dog collar match. I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, yeah, a win is a win. So and plus, yeah, Lee accepted Danny's challenge, so it seems we're gonna get 1-on-1. Um, as far as Indy, I think, yeah. Honestly, I think they're still gonna. have her work her butt off to the title eventually. So we're just gonna see what's next for her later. So.
Are Danny and Indy 1-1 against each other, or is the series like 2-1? What?
That's a good question. I think Indy's 2-1. One of them involving a disqualification. Um,
Okay.
yeah, involving a disqualification.
Okay, yeah. Then I would, because I would say like if it was tied at 1-1 right now, I would have Danny go over and then shelf the feud for a little bit. That way, you run it back eventually, maybe for having Indy be the one to defeat Danny for the title if they're gonna, if they were gonna put the title on Danny. But
Hmm.
in that case, if Indy's already up 2-1, even if it's a disqualification, I would shelf the feud just because. Yeah, let's not overdo it right now. You know what I
Because
mean?
like
We've had a
they've battled like numerous times, whether it's in triple threat gauntlets, four ways. So like yeah, they've been battling each other for like months. So I figure yeah, it's best to kind of put a little pause on that.
yeah.
Period.
We don't need it to be like
See,
the yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I was gonna say we don't need to be like WWE where you'd have like them do two pay-per-view, be like a fucking Hell in a Cell, and then like a no holds bar match. You know what I mean? Just like you would think that both of these would they beat the hell out of each other. You know what I mean? Like I don't think they need another match.
yeah.
Okay. Next, we're gonna go into our main event, which I think not only delivered in the match, the finish, the after match. I think everything was perfect. But it was our steel cage match, a real steel cage. Okay, TNA,
Hmm.
that you got it right. It looked proper. That was good. My only complaint I would have rather seen the two ring setup because I just think that it looked crowded at times. But again, that didn't hurt the match for me. But it was Team TNA versus Team NXT. Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, Mike Santana, and Santino Marella with Steve Macklin for Team TNA versus Team NXT, Brooks Jensen, Shane Lorenzo, Lexus King, Tyreek Eway, and Tyson DuPont. I believe they call themselves like the NXT Outlaws. I don't know if they're rolling with that, but that's whatever. Obviously we got the typical knockout. I mean, the lockdown style match. It was I don't have the entrance order in front of me, but we got the 1-1 with the heels getting the advantage. But I thought this was a very good match. I thought everybody really did shine for the most
I can
part.
do
But
I
what?
can do the order. I can do the order for you.
Okay.
Yeah, this was like you said, top to bottom. It had everything. A fun uh fun war, between the two teams, and then a big shocker later, which we'll get into later. Um, when they announced that they were bringing back the steel cage, I think it was pretty clever to have it on an Impact episode to kind of really balance out, final resolution and then impacts. And I think this is what TNA. This is what TNA needs to start doing. Kind of like, hey, start like it's already to go with the big matches on regular Impact, like because especially with AMC coming up, like to kind of hype up more of the Impact episodes, which I think is the goal next year, hyping up more of the Impact episodes. So that's a kind of win-win, for pay-per-views and the TV. And tonight was one of them, like with the steel cage. They did a good job hyping this up for some time. With the NXT crew getting the main advantage. I said this on Mike's stream the other week. I think for marketing reasons, they think there's a marketing reason. I think there's a reason why they can't call it Lethal Lockdown or Lockdown Pay Per View because of the key, hence of the main keyboard lockdown, and then everything that would happen in 2020 and stuff. You know what I mean. But hey, it's a name. At the end of it, it's a name. Name is a name. But same match. So that's what it is. But well, without the
Uh-huh.
roof, but without the roof, obviously. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, Santana. He has started this match. Obviously out of the team. He wanted to get his hands on these NXT guys so bad. So it was going to be him starting things off with Brooks Jensen. They won for a few minutes. What I noticed, yeah, the match. I mean, the time turnover was going a little quick. I guess you could say like the competitor comes in like at least a minute or two, and then someone comes in. But that's it. Anyway, next person was Lexus King. Uh, yeah, Lexus King. And then it was 2-on-1. Then in comes Steve Macklin with the Punisher face paint on. Uh, that kind of shows you that he's in war mode. He went yeah. Then it came, yeah. Then it was evened out. And then comes what's his name? Tyson Dupont. Yeah, Tyson Dupont. Then it was like a 3-on-2, and then oh yeah, and then Matt Hardy. Well, yeah, this is what interesting. Matt Hardy comes out, but then he gets attacked from behind by Tyreek Igwe, Dupont's partner, and he gets ran into the steel steps. And then Igwe comes in, so it ends up becoming like a 4-on-2, a 4-on-2, a 4-on-2 advantage. And then comes Matt Brothers Jeff. Jeff already went to kind of check in on Matt, but then he comes in, still like a 3-on-4. Um, but yeah, the main thing during this match, yeah, Matt Hardy was out. Yeah, Matt Hardy was out. To the surprise, out of everyone, the Righteous comes down. They they carry Matt to the back, which pretty much puts TNA as a team TNA at a disadvantage because now they don't have Matt. All right. Then comes the international champion himself, Shannon Stacks Lorenzo. Well, that's a long name.
Yeah.
uh, yeah. Again with the that kind of rounds up Team NXT 5-on-3, I think. 5-on-3, yeah. And then of course the last member, Santina Morella. Santina Morella comes out, and then we have like a 4-on-5. Um, it was pretty fun. Pretty fun. Yeah. Um, Pretty fun match. Yeah, everyone got their shine in, got their spots in. Especially Steve Macklin. Yeah, man, I think he was kind of like the MVP of this match. You can see, yeah, the MVP of this match and the segments, which we'll get into in a few. Um, I think that's what I love about steel cage matches. Like, it's a lot of creativity. I'm sure you agree too. Like, everybody can do a lot of creativeness and like put a little spots in to get the crowd hyped up, leading to the finish. I'll give it back to you. Like, what was your thoughts during this match? Like, anything impressed you?
I continue to really, I'm continuing to really like Tyreek and Tyson. I'm becoming really high on them. I think NXT needs to do more with them, and especially since I don't want them to abandon their plans they obviously seem to have with them when they put them with Wes. Um, yeah, no, I thought I completely agree with you. Steve Macklin, they're doing a really good job. He's still a big deal, regardless if he's champ or not. Like they've really made him one of like the top guys, and I'm really it's almost they're like behind him more than when he was world champion. It feels like at times. Um, yeah, it was interesting. I kind of didn't think we were gonna get a Righteous involvement in you know what I mean, like having the Hardys get taken out in the Righteous. I mean, Jeff getting taken out in the Righteous, coming, kind of take Jeff away. That was interesting. I didn't think we were building toward that match yet. But yeah, no, like I said, this was a good match. It was very fun. I really liked it, and the cage looked great on TV. And they do need to do more matches like this. Like I would say, just in almost like take it one step forward, do more bigger field TV episodes, kind of like AEW does with their Winter is Coming and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like where you're gonna build up a big TV show, like a TV match. You know what I mean? So don't do so many like big matches and really build some big episodes like the one we had the last 2 weeks. But yeah, this was a good match.
Yeah. Your thoughts on, as Matthew mentioned, wonder if Matt's legitimately injured or something. Your thoughts on Matt and Righteous taking him away?
Yeah, I like the way that they're kind of doing this. You know what I mean? Like they're obviously kind of along with like the cult gimmick. They're not having the righteous like turn on the Hardys just
Yeah.
yet, even though we know it's coming. So
Yeah.
this
Real quick.
whole
Yeah. Sorry. Real quick. Yeah. We'll just get into like what happened. So apparently, they took him backstage to somewhere. I forgot what Vincent was telling him. Some sort of. I don't know. I don't have a memory of what happened after, but yeah, basically, there Vincent was kind of like I guess he was asking Matt to kind of like help him or blah, 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 or some or kind of like a request or something, and then Matt obviously he was shooken, and then he didn't want any part of those two, and then run off. But yeah, it seems like eventually they'll have like the Hardys and Righteous feud, but it's kind of interesting how we're getting there. Don't you agree?
yeah, they're doing a weird path, but like it fits the gimmick. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with it. I'm interested.
Uh, All right. Back to the match. Yeah. Everyone had their spots and shining, as I mentioned, and then of course we had the tower.
That
Uh,
was big.
yeah, that was big. Yeah, Macklin on the top. Stacks and Jensen with the superplex, and then followed by Santana and uh, Santana and Santina with the tree fall, and everyone went down. Good stuff. Good stuff. Of course, leading to the finish where Santino pulls out the Cobra, hits the Cobra on Jensen, followed by the spin the block by Santana. 1, 2, 3. Despite the disadvantage, Team TNA gets the win. Uh, pretty fun stuff. What was your thoughts?
It make them getting the win makes sense, especially when we're going to get into the ending. You know what I mean? And obviously, it didn't. I'm glad that even if they didn't have the advantage, they were a man down. They still got the win because I think again, it's more about the ending and what happened after. But I'll let you start, Io. Obviously, we see Team TNA get the win. They're celebrating. Everyone kind of leaves the ring, and then we're just kind of left with Santino and Stacks. What were you immediately thinking was going to happen? What were you thinking at this point?
Um, I was thinking, well, this is kind of familiar, I guess, because
Yeah,
as I, as everybody was celebrating. The NXT Outlaws left the ring. Everyone except for Stacks, and seems like Santino seems like he still wanted more out of, still wanted to get, still want to put a little hurt in on Stacks as his team left, and then in comes his daughter Ariana Grace. Uh, Comes to console his her father, and then there we know a little kick, a little kick to the jewels. Shock put a shock on everyone. Ray Wall, Hannafin couldn't believe it. Yeah. As I would say, she pulled a Stephanie.
yeah.
She pulled a Stephanie. Yeah, that's what she did. Yeah, betrayed her father. Um, let's be honest. I said this a while back. Like, we shouldn't. They were teasing a while back. Like, there's someone but responsible for letting these guys in and attacking the TNA groups. It was who, like, who would you think? I mean, sure, it wasn't Ava. I mean, you would think, but yeah, it was Miss NXT herself. Yeah, yeah. As Matthew said, it was a predictable as a predictable turn by Ariana. Yeah, predictable, yes, but it actually came out great. It actually came out great, honestly. I mean, don't you agree? Like,
Exactly.
because like
Both
how she reacted after, which we'll get into later. But yeah, don't you agree?
two things can be right. You both are right. yes, the turn was predictable, and that's a good thing. Just in terms of like it makes sense. Like we knew when she came down the ring, like this is they're finally ready to go with it. And two, Io, you're completely right. They basically took elements of the Aces and Eights storyline where someone was working from the inside and letting those guys in. You know what I mean? Like Ariana used her role, like I'm sure they're gonna roll, and that's why I cannot wait for them to expand on the storyline. I can't wait for her heel promo.
Yeah,
She is the one that most likely let them in. This whole thing makes sense. This is very good and very
well,
well done.
yeah. I think TNA has something with this. Both
Yes.
both both and NXT too. If they actually want to showcase on their program, which I think they will. Matthew says, "Would you have wanted Santino to turn? Fans are never going to boo Santino. You should know that better, but they're never going to boo Santino. So no. Um, yeah, I think at first when they invaded, I think a lot of TNA fans or some people were really kind of feeling this invasion thing, but I think this heel turn by Arnold really kind of kick started, kind of really set the gears in motion. Don't you agree? Like, because now like this kind of got my, I mean, hell, it got everyone's attention. Like, huh, I want to see what's next. Yeah, I mean, of course, like, I mean, it seems to be a trend now. Like I mentioned Stephanie a while back. Dominic Mysterio, obviously, notorious with betraying his father, calling him a deadbeat and stuff. But yeah, I'm very interested to what's next. So yeah, kicked her dad in the groin. Stacks put a beat on Santino. Doors was locked, so Santana couldn't get in. Then Macklin with the right idea to climb up the cage. Stacks quickly scattered out there. And then yeah, as I mentioned, the change of demeanor in Ariana, like she has no remorse whatsoever. Like you can see like the different change of demeanor, like it's gonna be interesting because yeah, she was the pageant girl and all bright and smiley. Now she's not smiling at all. Like even got into Santana's face, saying like I hope telling got into Santana's face, basically saying like I hope you're not a worse dad as he was and stuff, calling like because he's a deadbeat da da da. So yeah, it's just kind of like seems like yeah, I'm interested to see kind of the explanation because yeah, and I think I got a good feeling what's her explanation going to be about. Uh, if you saw, I think I shared in the group chat. There's a photo of Santino outside the cage looking distraught. Obviously, looking distraught. A shocked, distraught father. What just occurred. But yeah, some good stuff we got coming these next few weeks. I can't wait. So, what was your thoughts on the end of the segment before we wrapped up?
Let me just say that right now, making, 'cause I think you just kind of alluded to their names, turning Stax and Ariana into NXT and then partly in TNA's version of Liv and Dom is a good move for Stax. Like having them be like a diabolical heel couple, like I think that's the best thing for him right now. Like he's not the best in the ring yet, but like having a good character, especially in that company, will go a long way. And Ariana is a great character. I think she's going to be a great heel. I can't wait for an explanation. I'm assuming she might like come out there and say, that Santino never approved of this relationship. You know what I mean? Now they're gonna take him out. You know what I mean? We're gonna get a lot of why. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be
I
good. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
If I had a pencil, I would put a little yeah, I'll put a little into it because like we thought she was a proud daughter of like being the daughter of Santina Morella, but then we turns out that was all a facade. Like imagine having a dad who pulls out a sock cobra, blah blah, blah and all that stuff. Like they can. I think if she says the right promo explanation, we got something because because you know what I mean, like it could, yeah, it can elevate. Obviously, it'll elevate Ariana, elevate Stacks. Keeps this feud going in between the both brands because Santino, he appears on NXT too, obviously. So I think we got something.
They could do something where I think like they did in WWE, like WCW, like you could have Ariana like have like Santino committed, so where you can't be the GM anymore, and Ariana could do a hostile takeover. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, there's always a chance for a disastrous wedding, a TV wrestling wedding. You know what I mean? We
Mm-hmm.
could be heading towards that. There's a lot of stuff that they could do with that, especially these are the kind of angles you need. Again, I could give a shit about this less. I'm talking about with this with one of my buddies in the group chat, but this is the kind of angle to get the casuals. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? This is for them. So I'm very intrigued by this angle. I'm so excited for that. I thought this whole thing was well done, very well done.
Mm-hmm. Very,
But
very well
before we
done.
get, yeah, before we get out of here, Isle, any final thoughts? Like again, we've got like 20, we got like 27 days till the debut. Obviously, we've got back-to-back holiday shows. Basically, we got a Christmas and a New Year's episode. So then, obviously, there'll be one show left before the debut. But what are you hoping to see before, you know what I mean? Just in these next couple of weeks. Obviously, as we built the Genesis and the debut of TNA.
More episodes like this, like keep keep giving the audience something to kind of sink into that they want to, that they can't wait for the next 7 days and then repeat after, because like this is what great wrestling is about. Obviously the wrestling, but also storytelling and good storytelling to make people want to see what happens next after. I think we got that last. I think we got that
Yeah.
with Thursday's episode. Um, definitely looking forward to what happens next with this storyline. Obviously, as we built to our DMC debut. I mean, sorry, the AMC debut and Genesis. So I think TNA got some things cooking. Um, oh yeah, we forgot to mention earlier in the evening, Moose kind of claimed that he has a rematch clause for the X Division title for whatever reason. Why he's cashing it out, I don't know why, but apparently, yeah, he wants his rematch with Leon. Cedric interrupts. Um, of course, he won the number one contenders. Was it last week? I think, yeah, last week he won the number one contenders last week. So both guys have a claim. Seems like we're gonna get a triple threat match, probably. But anyway, overall, yeah, I enjoyed Thursday's episode. Yeah, I definitely can't wait to see what's next.
A triple threat X Division match in TNA, obviously, that sounds like a recipes for a classic. You know what I mean? No one does a triple threat like TNA. You know what I mean? So that's going to be a banger. And if Leon was happened to like maybe drop the title, I think that's fine because, like I said, I think he's had a great run, and them elevating him sooner rather than later is fine with me. But I'm definitely looking forward to that. That's going to be a good. So we're heating up on the road to Genesis. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, with that being said, I want to thank everyone for joining us. I want to thank everyone in the chat for joining us. I want to thank you for joining me as well. Make sure you guys like and subscribe so you guys get notified whenever we go live or whenever the many, many amazing people at Body Slam go live. And with that being said, we'll see you all next week and have a good night.
All right. All right. Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays, everyone.